please welcome Iain De Caestecker and Elizabeth Henstridge. Welcome, you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Very dramatic music. I like that.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Felt really cool coming out there.
Really cool.
DJ's on point, right? Chicago's on point. Are you guys having a good time?
Yes.
Well, there are so many people here so excited to talk to you guys. You guys okay?
Yeah, we're just trying to.
We're trying to look really like cool and easy and relaxed.
Yeah.
I mean,
Look cool.
it's kind of like this is the perfect opportunity to talk about, your characters have been through so much together. There's a lot going on right now. How are you going to recover from this current situation? Without too many spoilers, or you can give us spoilers, right, guys? We're okay with that too.
Yeah, I don't know, Ian. How are we going to recover?
I think you
It's
should
really
take this
you,
question.
I think.
You said before you
I
wanted to
haven't
take all the
done anything
questions
wrong.
about
I have not
plot
done anything
points.
wrong. I think it's you, right? If you're caught up, yes.
I mean, Fitz doesn't remember, and there's all that, there's all these dynamics going on, and I'm just wondering. I mean, you've spent time here and there. What's going to happen? How are you guys going to come back together and recover from this?
Well, right now they're in an alternate reality, and it's all very strange. But your character isn't. Your character is very much awake within that alternate reality, kind of.
Yeah, so I know how messed up it is.
So it's definitely a much more difficult thing for your character, I would say. The only thing I would say about them is that, it seems like anything that's ever gets thrown their way, it can still, they're pretty strong together as a unit, usually. Yeah, they are.
She agrees.
But we don't know if they're going to get through it. That's the thing. We don't know how any of this is going to end. I mean, I got with an astronaut on a planet, so I guess...
Yeah, don't forget about that so
inside of
quickly.
it.
Let's just all remember
Now we're even.
that yeah.
I think they'll get through it because I think there'd be a riot if Fitzsimmons did not continue on. How did you guys, back from the original casting of the show? I mean, originally it was going to be two British characters, but then you came along and,
I mean, that's a difficult subject with Scotland and Britain, but I am British technically.
So tell me about the casting process and when you guys actually first read together, before you even began filming.
We read on our last round, so there were 3 Simmons and 3 Fitz, and they paired us with each other. But, I mean, it just felt like an acting class, because we were in a room with Joss Whedon and all our executives, and there just happened to be cameras there, and he would, give us different scenarios of what to do in the scene, and it was just so fun. It felt like a play day. I mean, Joss Whedon say, hey, what about this? Hey, what about that? And you're like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. So I met Ian on that day, the day of the audition, and then, didn't eat for 2 weeks, finding out, what was happening with it.
They made you wait 2 weeks.
No, actually, I think it was
I
really
found out the
quick.
next day.
Yeah, I think it was quick.
Sure you did. So how, now your characters are jumping through universes for each other. How do you create that bond? And how did you from the beginning work on that bond, not knowing each other prior?
I mean, look, a lot of the work on the show is done for you by the crew and the writers and the executives we have who come up with all the stories and stuff. So our job, once that's all done, is pretty easy. But Elizabeth's really great to work with. I enjoy working with her most of all.
Yeah, I was wondering when that was coming.
Yes, well... No, she is. So that's been I do remember when we did our screen test together, and we were doing different people, and everyone was great. But I remember when Elizabeth came in, there was something really special about her. That's the nicest thing I'll ever say about you. So just remember that.
Is this recorded?
Never going to happen otherwise.
Is anyone recording this?
And
you heard it, right? Gonna get that tattooed.
Don't.
Honestly, 5 years. It's the nicest thing.
Oh, we'll do it in another language. So people can say it, so it could mean that, but you never know.
Yeah.
And so, where were we?
How did you create the bond where you're going to jump through universes for each other?
I think the script, obviously, it always starts with the script, but then, neither of us had ever done anything like this before, and all of a sudden we're kind of thrust into this dream job that comes with, you know, Comic-Cons, and we went to San Diego that first year, and I just remember when Joss Whedon walked out, and we were all backstage before our panel, he walked out, and I have never heard a crowd so loud. Yeah. And it was one of those life-changing moments of, my God, this is happening. And so I think that brought us all together as a cast, really, because we were like, oh my God, we need to hang on to each other in this ride because it was so huge. I mean, you know, you've experienced that kind of thing. And
well, these guys are here because they love you. And I mean, the show
we love you guys. Thank you.
I mean, the show just grows stronger, and you guys are doing such phenomenal work. I mean, it's really, you guys are just really super fun to watch because it's phenomenal. Do you guys have questions for them? Yeah? If you do, line up in the aisles, and we'll try to get through as many as we can. And while we're doing that, Iain, framework fits is a lot darker than...
And sexy.
And, oh, well...
Right? Those suits? Really?
Sure.
How has it been to...
And the hair. I mean, there's a lot we could talk about. You should probably go ahead, but...
Sure. No, you can answer.
Well, we'll get both perspectives.
I like when you talk about it.
From an actor's point of view, do you approach that as two separate characters, or how has it been to explore the dark side?
Yeah, no, that's a good point, actually. They are kind of separate, but they're all... You know, the thing about the framework is everyone's had their path that they went on in the real world has been changed, altered somehow with some a big regret was meant to be taken away. In Fitz's case, he had his father around who was someone who taught him, to always stand up straight, never show emotion. And so his morals are just different. He still has the same kind of intensity as Fitz of feeling, I think, and emotion. It's just those have been projected in a different direction, I think. That's the best way I would describe it, maybe.
And Elizabeth, sounds like you prefer the darker.
Well, Elizabeth does. I don't know if Simmons does. Well, I know Simmons doesn't. It's just fun to see all these people. We've spent so many hours together over the last 4 years, and it's just so fun to see other stuff that people can do as well, that he can create this whole other character that has enough similarities. I mean, they look very similar, but enough similarities of like mannerisms that you know that it's the same, but there's something so different behind the eyes. I mean, it's very impressive, and the same with Clark and Ming and everyone. It's very, it's just been cool for us to see our friends play these really different roles.
It's definitely a benefit of working on a genre show.
For sure.
Like that.
Yeah.
All right, let's open it up. Hi, we'll start over here.
Cool costume.
You look great. You may need to take off the mask for us to understand you.
Pretty much, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has always thrown bad gender norms on the floor. There's a lot of powerful women on the show. Even I think in season 3, there's a comment where Gemma says, "I'm the only one on the base that can't kill a man with her bare hands." And I was wondering if, since Fitz is sort of in the same situation, that he's this really intelligent but smaller, non-combative person, that how has that affected the Fitzsimmons bond, being around all these super spies and them being scientists rather than these hardcore espionage people?
How has the bond been affected?
I think that's a really good question, really good point. I think, they definitely come from when they first joined the team. They were two kind of people that sat down in a lab all day and didn't really see the outside world as much. And suddenly they were thrown out into the field, and it was petrifying for them, So I think they've got better at it, at dealing with those situations. Yeah. But they're not as, we're definitely not as cool under pressure as Agent May or Daisy. So it definitely bonds them. They're similar in that. They're both scared. They're both petrified together.
Thank you. That's a great question. Thank you. Hi.
Hi, Chris from Chicago. I was actually just wondering, you guys have one of my favorite shows every week, and one of my biggest fears is kind of the fact that we haven't heard about the renewal. And I don't want the show to end on a cliffhanger. Have you guys heard anything about how if it doesn't get pulled through, or if it is getting pulled through? I know that some TV sites are saying no, some are saying yes, and I want it to be yes.
I'll pass you over to Elizabeth for this one.
The official word. We don't know yet. We all hope so, and I think, we've shown in this season that we have so many more stories to tell. The finale is just concludes some stuff, but also has a lot of big question marks over it in terms of what could be next. So we don't know. We hope so. They haven't told us yet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, I'm Miranda from Green Bay, Wisconsin. And we all know Gemma's obviously a Whovian, and Fitz got called the doctor in the framework. So my question is, if Fitzsimmons was stranded on a desert island and the TARDIS appeared, what doctor companion would show up to rescue them?
Which companion is coming for you guys?
We'd have to choose Karen.
Karen Gillan, for sure.
Thank you. Love the crossovers. Hi.
Hi, Spencer from Wisconsin. My question is, Ada is the newest in a long line of really awesome villains that this show has had. I guess I'm curious if you could pick sort of your favorite villain or the villain that's affected Fitzsimmons the most over the past 4 seasons, who would it be?
Ooh, the villain that's affected you guys the most.
Well, there was obviously there was Grab Ward, most handsome man alive, most handsome man alive, and it's hard to be angry at him. And then but I reckon probably this season with Ada and stuff, it's been pretty.
Yeah, I think it'd be Ada.
Yeah, Madame Hydra.
Or Madame Hydra, yeah.
Wait, there's Madame and there's Madam. Which are you meant to say? Because I always get mixed
fancy
up.
are you feeling? I feel like if you fancy, it's Madame.
I like to say Madame, yeah.
There you go.
It's kind of nice, isn't it?
I don't know which.
Answer your question? Yeah, I think
sure. Thank you.
Which villain do you think?
Sure.
Which villain? What's your perspective?
Probably Ada or Sky's dad was pretty fantastic. Yeah. He was very cool. Or, I'm sorry, Daisy's dad. My bad.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Mia from Chicago. I just want to say, Elizabeth, first, thank you for bringing to life such a complicated woman with vulnerabilities and being a scientist on media today. And Iain, you're fantastic too. You're fantastic too. But my question is for Elizabeth. Elizabeth, when your character woke up in the framework, I don't want to spoil it, but your character was in a very weakened state, and it really showed in your voice. Did you create that perspective, or was that the director's? I was just like, I'm a little worried right now. That voice is very weak. So where did that come from?
I was very sick.
I told her to just say she's method.
I know, I was very sick, and I lost my voice at different points, and I am sure, there's a scene with me in a car with another girl, and for sure, she had to have been sick after that day, because when we were trapped in this airtight vehicle, and she's like, nice to meet you, I was like, I'm so sorry, I'm about to ruin your week. She's like, oh, no, it's fine. So yeah, I was sick. The fun bit was, we have to do ADR after, which is where we go in and kind of redub lines in case there was traffic noise or something. So trying to recreate that was really interesting. I was like, oh, this looks cool. How do I do that now? My voice is better. But it worked out. It was kind of crazy how much it worked out. I mean, I felt terrible, and my makeup was there to make me look dead. So, I mean, that was pretty much done. And then I sounded terrible in it. Yeah.
I really liked it. You should get ill more often.
It was a great performance, being ill.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for pulling through then.
Both of your characters have changed so much since, your sort of innocent introduction. What do you think the biggest changes have been?
I think they've got just more street smart, and I think for Simmons, she's got more accepting of anything that's a bit different or that she doesn't understand. She would at first be very dismissive and fearful, and I think now she's learning to be more accepting of all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think, and as well, just appearance-wise, Simmons is a real fashionista. They're a real trendsetter. And I stopped wearing cardigans a while ago. That was a big step. It was a big step for me.
Big change. Hi.
Hi, I'm Stephanie from Chicago, and my question is, when Brett and Chloe were here just about a month ago, I asked about the backslaps that were happening between Ward and Fitz early in season 1, and they both answered that that was you, Ian, that wasn't scripted, when Ward and Fitz kept hitting each other on the back. So my question is there other stuff that you could share with us that was from the developing friendships that made it onto our screens?
I mean, the blooper reel probably has more than backslaps on it between Ian and Brett.
Yeah, but there's an X-rated blooper reel.
X-rated.
Like ad-libs and stuff that actually made it in there.
Yeah, ad-libs, nipples, whatever.
Thank you.
All the same. I mean, yes, probably. I can't remember what they are now. I know in the last episode there was one where Mace comes up to Simmons and calls her Miss Simmons. And for what I was like, oh, I don't like that. So I said it's Doctor, and that was an ad-lib that they let me keep it. But we have stuff all the time. Like we're friends, and I mean, any kissing scene, there's usually something horrendous going between the two.
We don't improvise
pals.
kissing scenes, though.
No, we don't. Chloe does. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that speaks a lot to the show's respect for you guys as actors, because that's not standard for network television, being allowed to improvise or add things.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and it's always it's usually more jokey bits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I suppose 4 seasons down, everyone kind of has an equal share. No one cares anymore. They're like, whatever. Yeah, take your trousers off, whatever. But I don't know why I'm talking about that. But most of the stuff in there is already, written for you. It's already there's nothing you need to change anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi, Abby from Twin Lakes, Wisconsin. My question for you guys is, in season 1, everyone Fitzsimmons was a total pair. They were completely inseparable. And as the seasons have progressed, you guys have flourished and evolved into your own individual characters. How did you guys go about doing that, preparing for that in the show?
Oh, great question.
Yeah, the evolution of the characters, and arguably this is the strongest season in my opinion now. So, how did you take them from the innocence of season 1 to where they are?
I think we just say what's written on the page. I mean, really, it's we have the best
And also,
writers.
I think 88 hours of television. It's a long time.
Yeah. What do you mean? Get used to it?
No, I just meant we've had a lot of time to do
Yeah.
it. Sorry,
Yeah.
That wasn't. I just totally killed the mood in the room there. Sorry. Sorry.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Jess from Chicago. I was asking, wow, weird sentence. I really like the framework, specifically Fitz's relationship with Ada or Ophelia or Madam Hydra, whatever we're calling her this week, and I was wondering if you could tell me more about that, especially since I'm dressed as Madam Hydra.
I know, that's a cool costume. Some more. What? Oh, sorry. Wait, what was the question? Oh, how much Fitz and Madame Hydra fancy each other?
Yes, please.
Yeah, it's hot, it's steamy, It's just passion.
It is,
It's
though.
sheer passion.
It is.
Yeah, there's a lot of sweat. There's a lot of, there's just, no, come on. I don't know, it's there's a sense where he loves her with the same intensity that in the real world he loves Gemma Simmons, right or wrong. And yeah, and she's manipulated this world to kind of fit her narrative, really, and that's one of the things that she wanted.
It's good though because it is different. It's a darker love. There's an intensity there. You don't look at me like that. But it's good. It's good, you guys. It's fine because it makes sense for those characters.
Well, sometimes I get upset when you don't put the toilet seat back down. There's lots of things. I'm gonna get into this right now.
It happens. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Hi.
I'm Jack Bear from Lafayette, Indiana, and my question is, if you guys were in the MCU movies, during Civil War, what side do you think you would have been on?
That's an...
Mind on this. We did decide. We'd figured this out. I've forgotten now.
Would we be on? We'd be on the same one though, right?
I think Tony Stark because of the sciencey stuff.
Technology and that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think him. But I feel like we as people would be on Captain America, like real life people. So basically every side.
We just want world peace.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Jen and I'm from Chicago. So in past episodes, we've gotten bits of their histories, like Mama Fitz and how Gemma had surgery for her scoliosis. So I was wondering what sort of personal character development that you guys have come up with for your characters that us as an audience that we don't know.
That's interesting. Sometimes actors create large backstories. Sometimes that's not the process. What's your process for creating the characters?
I mean, I started doing that, and then they'd go, "Oh no, your mum is, you know, you have two mums, and your dad died," and they go, "Oh, okay, I'll just change all that then." So I think I just sort of do it episode by episode. Just then you're a bit more open to them saying, "You had scoliosis, okay, right, yeah, yeah." You know? What do you like?
I'm the exact same. I don't think I have done any backstory. I think I was quite intrigued to find out if there was any stuff to do with his father or his mother and stuff. And the scene where they show my mum, that's my real mum in real life. Isn't that nice?
So nice.
She was so happy. I'm going to try and get her a part in the show as well. She's going to audition and stuff.
We want
Yeah.
Mama Fitz.
Yeah.
You mean the picture, though?
The picture.
I was going to say, did I miss her scene? Yeah, the picture.
Yeah, well, I mean, you blink and you miss her, but it was still a big moment.
No, I really noticed.
Big moment. Sorry.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. And kind of building on that, how far in advance are you let in on the storylines or the character's trajectory? And have you ever been really shocked by any of the story elements?
Yeah, they tell us at the last second. Literally the last second. Sometimes we get new pages halfway through a scene. Although that happened more in season 1, I feel like. That hasn't happened for a while, right? Yeah. We get like red pages. There you go. You thought the scene was this and you learnt your lines, but this is what's happening actually.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh.
That was for the reveal of
Ward.
Of Ward, yeah. We got a script and then they pulled us into like a room and they went, "We've got some new pages for you guys." And so we read through it and at the end it's like Ward shoots someone in the head or something.
Hand.
Yeah, Victoria Hand shoots her in the head. And I cried.
It's a true story. Yes, hi.
Hello, my name is Rachel and I'm from St. Louis. I guess my question is for both of you, and it's what has been the most gratifying moment for you of this whole experience, like through all 4 seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., anyway, Comic-Con, this, just all of it. What's been your most gratifying moment?
Honestly, events like this, where you get to come and meet people and actually have conversations and hear people's theories or opinions, and it's a side of acting that I never really thought about when I dreamed of doing it, and it's just a really cool thing that we get to do and kind of share experiences with you guys is
I agree totally. And sometimes you're in a bit of a bubble when you're filming the show and you forget that some people actually watch it and enjoy it, and so it's really nice to meet people that have watched it and they like the characters and the storylines and stuff. So definitely I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Mika from Chicago. My question's for Elizabeth. So this framework's been a lot, but for me, one good thing to come out of it was seeing Gemma and Sky/Daisy together again, working as a team. How great is it for you to get to work with Chloe again, like Skimmons and things like that?
I know, and Skimmons was back for real because it was Sky and Simmons.
What are they called now when it's Daisy and Simmons?
Oh, it's like scazy. It sounds like it's some sort of infection. Yeah, we don't dig it, so we keep it as Skimmons, but now it's like true. Yeah, it was brilliant. We'd actually just, because Jed Whedon wrote the last episode and directed it, the one before we went into the framework when everybody, well, I don't want to spoil too much, but we had just been talking to him the week before saying, oh, we want scenes together. I had no scenes with her really in this season. And he was like, I think you're going to be okay coming up. Yeah, and then since that episode, it's been all the time. It's brilliant. She's great on so many levels, and it's always nice to mix it up with different people in scenes. And I would say I had like slight separation anxiety from Iain, and then I watched what he was doing in the framework and it like dissipated. So I was all about the girl power.
Thank you. And it does seem like the whole cast just genuinely enjoys being around each other and gets along really well. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, absolutely. We're very lucky. I think, we have the best people at the top who are just so lovely and supportive, and Clark sat us down on the first day and said, we're in this together. Like, if anyone has issues, we just talk to each other. And yeah, it's created just a nice family. And we're all, it's a bit sick. We're all obsessed with each other.
But in a good way.
In a good, healthy way.
And yeah.
Well, some comments Ian's made, I'm not sure, but generally.
I just like to keep your hairs sometimes. I'm making something. I'll show you what it is when I finish it. God.
There's nothing wrong with that. Hi.
Hi, I'm Nina from Rochester, Minnesota. My question is for both of you guys. Since you guys wrapped filming earlier this week, what was your favorite Fitzsimmons scene from this season to film with each other?
Mine hasn't aired yet, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
Really?
Yeah, it's one where I'm like standing over your body and I have the knife and it's like...
Yeah. Hey, do you know what? I actually really did enjoy that scene.
What?
The one...
Where I stabbed you?
Yeah, the one where you stabbed me and stuff, where I was a robot. Remember?
Yeah.
It was good fun. It was like weird. It was weird and it was a bit traumatic, but it was kind of good fun.
It was fun, yeah.
It was like weirdly fun.
Yeah.
You don't really get to do that stuff usually.
No. What, in your everyday life?
No.
Just...
Yeah. You come out the other side. Not
true.
usually. Yeah.
I mean, weird fun is good fun, right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Blair from Missouri, and so speaking of episode 15, we had a very interesting conversation between LMD Fitz and Simmons about marriage, and I was wondering if we might see some more of that, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
She's crossing her fingers.
I'm crossing my fingers.
Just remember, he was an LMD at that point. It's like, no, he was, but generally, because it was his kind of. It was still his kind of brain and wants and desires in his head. So, yeah, definitely.
We'll see.
Who else is crossing their fingers for that? Anyone? That's a good point. Thank you. Hi.
Hi, I'm Meredith from Chicago, and what has been one of the funniest moments on set, or something that stood out that you always remember and laugh about?
What about a funny bit? I think you called them
A lot
earlier.
are X-rated.
That's fine.
In terms of language. Oh, God, I don't know what we can say.
And there you have it.
I mean, Ming usually is a big source of physical comedy in terms of she just falls over all the time. Trips over, and it's usually after like a really strong stance and she's going to go and fly the Quinjet or Zephyr or something, and then she like marches out and just falls on her heel or something. We tried to put spice in Brett's sandwich that time and it didn't. And do you remember?
Yeah, we put Tabasco in his sandwich, yeah.
But like a lot, and he didn't react, not one bit.
No, he did. He did. He was doing this scene and he was kind of like licking his fingers and he kind of just carried on.
Oh yeah, that was sort of just a professional, whereas we clearly are not.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, Teresa from Michigan. My question for you is, I guess I'll lean up to it. You guys have done a lot with the show in terms of superheroes getting more, powers with the Inhumans, and Coulson got a fake hand and stuff like that. So my question is, if Fitz and Simmons had gotten some sort of superpower, what would you have picked?
Superpower for Fitzsimmons.
For like one for them to have collectively together?
You could do a collective or a separate.
Individually or collectively. I could see a Wonder Twins that kind of thing going on.
Why not?
Yeah.
That's a difficult one. I don't know. What would you do?
Well, I mean,
If I could I always say this, but if I could just, like at the click of a fingers, just morph and I've got Brett Dalton's body, it's great. It can do stuff around the house, it's great, some cheese in those abs. Or, if I got to do some stuff like fight baddies, whatever. And also, she might enjoy that as well, Win-win for everyone, really.
Awesome.
Thoughtful.
What do you think would be the appropriate superpowers?
Oh, I feel like, they're both so smart and they're so, scientifically minded. I feel like some telekinesis would be really cool.
that would
I
be
like that.
cool.
Yeah.
Also, maybe just a little translator that would just subtitle, because sometimes I feel like other characters struggle to understand us.
There you go.
And just other actors. So that would be helpful. Just like, leave
Awesome.
that with you.
Maybe you'll see that in the next season. You never know.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Alyssa. I'm from Chicago. I was wondering if you could talk about the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Agent Carter lip sync battle, and if you think you'll be bringing that back.
Lip sync battle.
I don't know. I mean, we were just like spectators of that, really.
We were mere pawns. Yeah, you need to ask Chloe and Clark. I think they were the real masterminds behind that. It got a bit serious for a while. They were like,
Yeah, it did.
they'd be on set. They'd be, we'd be waiting to like learn your lines. We'd be on set, like waiting for Clark and Chloe. They'd be at this side, like rehearsing dance moves. Yep. But we're the wrong people to ask about that.
Thank you anyway.
So, thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
We have time for questions. One over here, one over there.
Okay.
I'm Ella from Mohammed, Illinois, and my question is, if you were in the framework and someone told you that it wasn't real, how would you react?
If you're in the framework and you were told it was not real.
I mean, it's like someone saying to you now your life isn't real. I mean, it depends how good my life was. If I had a terrible life, I'd be like, oh my God, I knew it! Take me!
That's very true. But yeah, you wouldn't really believe it if it feels so real. Like, I don't know. That's a good question. I need to watch The Matrix again.
Thank you. Elizabeth, Gemma had to take down Fitz as a LMD. What was going through your mind? That was such an amazing scene. What was going through, your mind in that moment?
I mean, I get very emotionally attached to Fitz and Simmons, and any scene that I read, like, I'll start crying as I'm reading it, just because, even if it's not a sad scene, because sometimes I just think, God, they've just come so far, like, think of everything they've been through. So I'm like, it's not a safe reaction, to be honest. So I was just so sad. I was so sad that she had to do that, and a bit traumatized, and that whole, I went straight from that scene on a plane to England to surprise my mum for her birthday. So I was on the plane like, oh, no one understands what I'm going through. And like, I still had bits of blood on me. I mean, everybody gave me a very wide berth. I mean, I got, the road to myself and things like that. So that was nice. But yeah, I get very emotionally attached. So that, I mean, it was traumatic, really.
Of course, because you're still looking at him,
Yes.
and so it was a great scene.
Part you kind of enjoyed it though, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
Just a little. Okay, last question.
Hi, I'm Juliana from South Bend, Indiana, and I've been watching the show since season 1. But I was wondering, Fitzsimmons has been through a lot together, from being basically just really good friends in season 1 to an amazing couple in season 4. And you guys always do a really amazing job of just portraying the emotion. And I was wondering if you've ever received any really amazing acting advice, or if there's something you draw from to help you do that.
I've learned a lot from Elizabeth doing the show, kind of on and off screen. She's very good. She's very, very, very professional.
Again, are we recording this? Somebody, that's really nice.
Oh, that's it. I'm going to change tack now. No, she's not.
Learn what not to do.
She's absolutely average. No, I do. But everyone on the show, Clark, but I've learned a lot of Elizabeth, and in terms of, you say, like emotional scenes. Elizabeth's someone that it's not as like everyone else. It's not an easy thing for her, but she's. I've never seen anyone like her that can quite do that kind of tap into that kind of thing. It's pretty impressive. Let's see. All right, that's enough. But she's also an asshole. Apart from.
I feel like that's the end.
Well, that's a nice, lovey moment to end on, don't you guys think? Have you guys enjoyed yourselves? Please, one more